Do you think that taking the time to put the first sort of 25 years of your life on the page, do you think it was a contributor to this feeling of renewal? Did it clear out a lot of stuff?
That exercise was the greatest form of therapy I could have ever had. Just going through so many things and you know, forgiveness and understanding, acceptance. You know, in writing this book that I just wrote, it helped me to understand and love him even more, because for the first time I saw him as a person, as a man, living his life, dealing with whatever demons and things that he had to deal with. And I realized that he was operating on what he had. What he experienced with his parents, what he experienced in the military, all the things that he went through, and he did the best he could with it. And it was really freeing. Even though we made peace before he died, there were still things I realized that I was holding on to. And in writing this book, it all vanished. That was beautiful. That was the gift and the reward and the success of writing this book.
But that conclusion came after you became a parent.
Yeah.
And I wonder how challenging that was for you to have enough self-awareness when you became a father to not fall into some of those byproducts of being raised by a strong parent in ways that you don't want to actually carry on.
I think you either become that person or you go the other way. And I went the other way.
I don't want this fame to be staying in my reality, yeah.
You surround yourself in this house with reminders of your life. There's beautiful, beautiful portraits of your mother in that room. A beautiful, striking portrait of your grandfather in that room.
I wouldn't be here without these people. My grandfather was born in Inagua, Bahamas, had 4 brothers and sisters and a bedridden mother. Father died, and he had to become the man of the house at 9. Not only did he figure that out, he then went to Florida, to Miami, met my grandmother. I think they were like 16. When they got married, and had my mother the year later. Ended up going up to New York City to search for a better life. And all of that is the foundation that I'm standing on. This is a family home. It's also my daughter's home. So when I'm not here, she's here. And she has friends over. We like to just hang out, cook, eat, listen to music, talk, laugh. You know, when I'm working with my band, they live here. We live as a family, which I think is important.
I think that there's been this misconception because of the way that you've made your music and how you've managed your career. And also, I think how you're perceived within the media or through the lens of photographs and whatnot of being this loner. And that doesn't sound like it's actually the reality at all. It sounds like you love to be around a lot of people.
I love people, but it's a very tight group.
And you like being on your own as well?
I do. I like being around people as much as I like being by myself. I need both. I was raised to work hard. I was raised to have a solid foundation and to always be working harder to get to the next place. You know, my grandfather used to wake me up 5 a.m. when I was in junior high and high school to go into the backyard and prune the trees and chop the wood. And I had to work. And my grandfather would lecture me all the time with the greatest love and respect. But when you're a kid, you're not down for that. And I watched my mother, even in her success, being on, you know, the #1 television show, clean the house, do the thing. It was always about follow through. You know, doing everything properly to the nth degree. My father was ex-military.
Right.
My father was a Green Beret. He was a challenging man, but his love of music and art was incredible. He was really passionate, which of course is, you know, why he ended up with my mother. You know, risked his whole family, because when he married my mother, his whole family, you know, left. That was it. Sure. They then came back when I was
There was
born.
a walkout because of the interracial.
Yeah, there's not a white person at the wedding.
That was in the 60s.
66? 63. Then they all came around and it was all love and it was all great and they figured it out. But
That was a radical thing to do in 1963.
my father really exposed me to the music. He was the jazz aficionado. He was the guy that took me to see Duke and Miles and Lionel Hampton
Right.
and Sarah Vaughan and Ella Fitzgerald.
But they were your father's
And he took me to my,
clients?
no, he knew them, he worked with some of
friends,
them.
buddies.
Yeah, and he produced the show on NBC with Toscanini and his orchestra. So my dad was into all this stuff. I thought, I don't know if I have anything interesting to to write about. The way I look at my life, it's my life.
Yeah.
It seems ordinary to me. But he said, you're gonna find the stories and you're gonna find the meaning